Hello, I'm Steve Fowler, Editor-in-Chief of Auto Express. Now, we know it's really difficult to get a test drive at the moment to have a proper good look around a new car, so Hyundai have asked me to come here to give you a virtual test drive of this, the all-new Hyundai Tucson. Now, I'm not going to say anything here that we haven't said in our review of the car already, which is pretty good because we scored this car 4.5 stars out of 5. That's a pretty good rating, which makes this a very good car. It's no surprise we've had such interest on our website in the all-new Tucson. So let's start and have a look around the car as you would do in a showroom yourself. Now, it's a striking car, looks subjective. I think it looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty premium too. It's got some really dynamic creases along the side, some typical SUV styling cues like these squared off wheel arches and black plastic cladding. It's no surprise that this car looks premium because Hyundai's chief designer, a guy called Sang-Yup Lee, used to work for Bentley. Now, I reckon this car will compete with the likes of the Skoda Karoq, the Peugeot 3008, but also the likes of the Range Rover Evoque and the Audi Q3. I think it looks that good. And there are some fantastic details. I'm going to show you something that I really think is cool. Now, at the front here, you see what is a pretty normal grille, pretty attractive grille, but hidden in here of what Hyundai calls parametric hidden lights. The clue is in the word hidden. You don't see anything at the moment, but you turn the car on. Wow, I love that. It really is quite cool, these LED lights. It's using light as perhaps we would have used chrome in the past, but if you see one of these in your rearview mirror, there's going to be no mistaking it's a Hyundai Tucson behind you. And in case you were wondering, the actual headlights are in this unit down here. There's more cool light stuff happening at the back. There's this lovely full width LED light strip, but what's more important really when you talk about the back of the car is what's inside. Now, this automatically reveals 616 litres of space. That's actually more than you'll get in a Toyota RAV4. And of course you can increase it by just pulling on a lever, and you'll see that the seats actually split 40-20-40, so you can have a combination of luggage and people in the back. Talking of people in the back, let's just go and have a look at that as well, shall we? Now, if you happen to be ferrying your family around, you'll have plenty of space here in the back. Clearly, they're never going to be as big as I am, but the doors open nice and wide, makes it easy to get kids in if they're in child seats. So it's good headroom, good width. Can you get more space in the back of an SUV? Yes, you can. Do you need it? Probably not. But where I really want to get to is up there into the driver's seat. Now, this is another area of the Tucson where we've been really impressed. The interior is lovely, no better way to describe it. The quality is good. I use my ring to test the quality of the plastics, some nice soft touch plastics where you really want them to be, a little strip of material that's running around the dash that warms things up. There are some cheaper plastics lower down in the cabin that you can probably hear me tapping away down there and there, but that's not really something I would complain about. But the style is good. I love these chrome strips that run from the center console like wings across the top of the dashboard and onto the doors. What you would expect from a Hyundai is plenty of practicality. Big door bins, nice size glove box there, a nice lidded bin there to put odds and ends in, and a bit of storage down there. What you wouldn't expect is for Hyundai to be technology leaders. Can't believe I'm saying that still, but there's so much technology in this car. The lovely widescreen display that is crisp and easy to use. It also has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay connectivity. If you've never used those two things, they will change your life. Fantastic. But there's wireless phone charging down here. Just drop your smartphone down there and it'll charge up automatically. Got a digital display in front of you which you get a clear view of through the steering wheel. And if you buy one of the top spec cars, you get a Krell audio system, US makers, really premium audio system that does sound good. And then there is safety tech. Very, very important. There are so many initialisms that come with this car. Oh, it's beeping at me already. Things like lane departure warning, blind spot monitoring. I love the blind spot monitoring. When you put the indicator on, you get a little display from a camera in the door mirror in the dashboard, so you can see what's over your shoulder. And airbags are plenty. This car is pretty much as safe as you would expect and that you can get, which is really important these days. Let's talk about price very quickly. Now, it's always a concern when there's a new model that comes out, it's going to be much more expensive, but we've seen some really competitive PCP and personal lease deals on this car. So really, for what you're getting, I would say it's pretty good value. Now, that's all very well and good, but I know what you're saying. This is supposed to be a virtual test drive. So should we go and have a drive? Let's do it. This is the hybrid model. It's a full hybrid, so there's a battery on board and the car can run over short distances on electric power alone. Ideal for when you're driving around city streets like these. You can step up to a plug-in hybrid, which, as the name suggests, you plug in, you charge up a bigger battery and it will go further on electric power. There's also a mild hybrid, which uses a little battery, which just supports the petrol engine and making it a little bit more efficient when you're stopping and starting, but it won't drive on electric power. Or you can just have a petrol Tucson. Now this car, the hybrid, is really smooth. The automatic gearbox that's operated by these buttons down here rather than a lever really shifts quite smoothly. You can't really tell when it's changing gears. More to the point, you can't really tell when the engine's working and when it's not. This is a very refined car and that has impressed me. Let's just talk about handling for a while. Now, I know this car is an SUV and you don't want an SUV to handle like a sports car, but this car does handle rather well. And that's down to one man, a man called Albert Biermann. And Albert, believe it or not, used to work for BMW and was responsible for building all of BMW's fast M cars. Now at Hyundai, he's responsible for their N cars. And Hyundai produced a fantastic hot hatch called the i30N. And that means there's a bit of Albert and a bit of N in this Tucson. And it means it actually handles pretty well for a car like this. The steering is pretty direct. And there's less of what we call body roll, the sort of pitching backwards and forwards that you get in some SUVs that's going to make you sick, a bit like here on a ship. This car actually controls body roll really well. Now, what you sometimes get with cars that control body roll really well is a firm ride. And I'll be honest, this is quite a firm riding car. But let's put it this way, I've got lots of wobbly bits and they're not wobbling about too much as I'm driving around on these pretty awful London streets. So the ride, yes, it's firm, but no, it's not uncomfortable. More practical considerations have to be taken into account. The visibility out the front is good, nice big side mirrors, which I always like, and no real blind spots. Plus, of course, there are loads of cameras around on the various trim levels that help you out when you're parking, for example. So that's a pretty glowing review, but as I said at the outset, we can only tell it how it is, and this car scored 4.5 out of 5 in its Auto Express review, which you can see on our website, autoexpress.co.uk right now. If you want more information on this car, go to Hyundai's website. So, should you buy this car? Well, it's a really crowded market. Pretty much every car maker has something that competes with the new Tucson, both premium brands and mainstream brands. But what I like about this car is that Hyundai have done something a little bit different. It ticks all the boxes and more, and for that reason, for me, it should definitely be on your shopping list, and I know it will be on mine.